celebrate yes, today we are going to celebrate your graduation ceremony. How it is possible? No, little surprise. Because I want to introduce some new things about in geography, but that all you crossed in your past lessons. Okay, in 9th standard, the first lesson you have studied about for maps. So the study of map in geography is called cartography. Okay, those who are expert in cartography, they are cartographers. Okay, the same time, the second lesson, it implicate about for the landforms, how the landforms are originating, that endogenetic process, okay, how the earthquakes are formed. One study about for the landforms, that the specified subject is geomorphology, that is as one sub branch of geography, okay. So those who are expert in geomorphology, they are geomorphologists, okay. And the study on earthquakes and volcanoes, that is called seismology, and those who are expert in seismology, they are seismologists, okay. And study of under the earth, we are studying about for the under the earth, how the and the third lesson, no, it is coming slightly coming about for that, that is called for geology. Those who are expert in that branch, they are called for geologist, okay. In study on ocean in geography, even ocean also included in the geography subject only. In study on ocean about is oceanography. Those who are expert in that field, they are called by oceanographers. So now you all are mini graduates only, okay. You all are mini graduates only. I'm congratulating you, come to know about further geography and sub branches also, and see that set inductions. It is specified for our today's topic, okay. And today's topic means how the aquatic animal survive in lakes. We used to think, no, how the polar bear, seal, waldron, and so many aquatic animals, how can they bear the extreme winter conditions? Okay, they are cold body animals only. Then also, how can they survive in the extreme winter climate? This is normally arise in our mind. Okay, that is the one more question I keep in front of you from your side only. Okay, why is the seawater salty? Because why the seawater is became salty? It is also little thinkable question only, thoughtable question only. Why do ships float on the water? Okay, these are all normal questions only. Just I keep in front of you. You come to know about further today's topic. Okay, today's chapter geography 6, that is the properties of sea. Okay, today's topic is properties of sea. The sea, it has own properties. Okay, now we are going to study about that. And then one thing, no, in Maharashtra State Board, in our State Board subject, especially in geography, I like very much about for the syllabus. It gives entire information in very short point of view. Okay, then let us start our let us start our trip, the cruise ship. Okay, we have to enjoy our entire oceans today and tomorrow also. Just start our journey without passport or any other restrictions. No need. Just enjoy your trip. Okay, we can analyze the properties of sea. Now see this picture, known to unknown. Okay, you take 1 second. Do you remember anything? Do you remember anything about this the picture? Okay, see this also. I just check your past memories. These two pictures, it was taken from your 8th standard geography book. Okay, 8th standard geography book, that's ocean currents. It is similar related to our topic. Okay, how the water flows, that ocean currents flows everywhere. So this is explain about for the tray. It holds plain water only, and then put some plastic mass on that. After that, once we heat the water, that water expands. Okay, the density of water is reduced, so the movement of water will increase. The transportation starts. Those pins are moving one place to another. That is the ocean current. Okay, the simple explanation. This already you studied. One of the example they are given, that is a very what interesting examples. Do you remember? I think so. See the doll. Okay. The very strange incident occurred in the Pacific Ocean in the year 1992. Okay. A cargo ship sailed towards America from Hong Kong. While traveling through the Pacific Ocean near the Hawaii Island, a container full of toys fell into the ocean and broke. Around 28,000 rubber toys started floating on the ocean. This incident occurred on 10th January 1992. Now, the strange thing happened after around 10 months. On 16th November 1992, some of the toys reached the coast of Alaska. See here in the map, it shows wherever the toys travel through the ocean water. With help of the ocean current, it's traveled entire ocean. Okay, this is also such a interesting thing only. Now you come to know about for our topic. Today's topic is totally properties of sea. Okay, wait. This is wait. Uh, Okay, properties of seawater. Here you see already that one graph is given, depth and temperature of seawater. First, I want to introduce you about for the topic. What are the main elements of the properties of that seawater? The first one is the temperature. The second is salinity, and third is density. Okay, okay. And see, the temperature is the major property of the seawater. Okay, but the temperature is varies from one place to another. You just imagine about for the previous diagram. Once you imagine it, the globe, no, I show the how the regions are divided. That is 0 degree latitude to 23 and a half south and 23 and a half north. Okay, the 23 and a half south and 23 and a half north is equatorial regions. There is a sunlight is perpendicular. Okay, that above the equatorial region, there is a temperate region. The temperate regions, automatically the sun rays goes slanting. So the temperature of those regions, no, it is a little reduced from, it is away from the equatorial region. So automatically the temperature is reduced. The third one is the polar regions, that is up to 66 degree to 90 degree. So that is almost what I told, very cold regions, higher, that is almost higher latitude regions, that is a cold regions. Now you see in the graph, no, it is nicely explained. There is, see, in the this first I will explain about for the temperature of the every region. The surface temperature of the seawater decrease from the equatorial areas to polar regions. Equatorial areas means what? The center of the earth to towards the polar region. Northern polar regions and the southern part also towards. Okay. But the 25 degrees Celsius to 16 degrees Celsius mid latitude, it is very closer. What I told, it is very closer to the temperate equatorial region. So in there, that is a mid latitude regions, we always experience 25 degrees Celsius to 16 degree Celsius temperature in mid latitude regions. Okay, see here that torrid zone. Torrid zone means what? It is equatorial regions. There is in figure you see There is a given, the depth is given, and then the temperature also given, x-axis and y-axis. You see the diagram very clearly. The torrid zone, the dotted small black dots lines, no, that torrid zones, 1 minute. Okay, you have seen that smaller dotted lines, no, there is a temperature is how much, 25 degrees Celsius to 16 degrees. The next blue color line, no, and that blue color line to red color line up to, that is a temperate climate. That means temperate zones away from the equatorial regions. The in the climate of that region is it is automatically going to reduce see, 14 degrees to mid, okay, 5. Up again, that the polar regions, red color line, no, that red color line is, no, it is indicated for polar regions. It is a very less temperatures below 5 degree. Okay, but this 3, after the depth, in that side depth, you see after the 1000 meter, everything is equal. See, after the 2000 meter, even torrid zone also, mid latitude zone also, in high latitude zone also, everywhere in the ocean, especially in the surface of the ocean, the temperature is equal. The depth under the 2000 meter. See here, the equatorial region, temperate region, even polar regions, after the 2000 meter depth, you see the depth column. Okay, after the 2000 meter depth, everything is equal. There is a no change in temperature. Before, see, in equatorial region, what I told, that not for the surface of the sea. Okay, the surface temperature of the sea water, it's not uniform, no, that the surface temperature of the sea water, it is vary from every regions. But after 2000 meter, everywhere it is an equal temperature only, that is below 4 degrees Celsius. In beside these cyclones, rainfall, sea waves, ocean currents, salinity, pollutions, conventional currents, seasons, etc. also affect the surface temperature. Okay, the surface temperature is related to the zones, climatic zones, equator zone and the equatorial zones, and temperate zone and polar regions. Okay, but the depth, once it reached the 2000 meter depth, there is a no change in temperature. The ocean currents have a similar effects on temperature, the seawater. In regions where cold ocean current flow, the surface temperature of the ocean water is less. While the regions where warm currents move, the temperature increases. Last year you studied about for the currents, no? I given the small introduction also. Wherever the ocean currents, cold ocean currents, the temperature of the ocean water is less only, because wherever the cold ocean currents will available, the northern latitude regions, polar, nearer to the polar region, there is cold water current is available. So there all the surface seawater also, the temperature also automatically it is reduced less only. While the regions where warm currents move, the temperatures increases. Wherever the warm current moves, the temperature is all automatically increase only. Now you see here, while the most sun rays radiate the black from the surface of the sea. Okay, always sun rays, no, the certain kilometers only it can enter to the seawater. That's why you see the scuba divers, they used to wear the head torch. No, that forehead, they have a torch light. Because once they reach the below the depth, that is below the 2000 meters depth, there is no sunlight. So the automatically the temperature also remaining same only everywhere in the world, even equatorial region, even temperate region, even polar regions, everywhere around the world below the 2000 meter depth, that means 2 kilometers. After 2 kilometers, everywhere the same temperature only, that is 4 degrees Celsius. That's why the aquatic animals and plants can able to survive in the below the 2000-meter depth. Are you understand? See, some places they have very hot. Okay. In some places they are very cold and frozen also. How the aquatic animals and plants can survive in the extreme climate? Now do you understand? Below 2000-meter depth, everywhere in the entire ocean, all around the world, there is a similar temperature only, that is 4 degrees Celsius. So the animals and plants can able to survive. Okay, are you understand? No, that one questions we solved from the set inductions. Now we go to the other section. See, the temperature of the seawater changes rapidly with depth. At the equatorial areas, the difference in temperature is lesser in polar areas. See, the seawater changes rapidly depth in equatorial areas, but the polar region is very lesser only. You know, already the polar regions, the animals know that everything is frozen. Even the top layer of the ocean also freezed. It became a thick layer. Then also the animal can survive under the seawater. Okay, because of this reasons only. There is also difference in open seas and landlocked seas. As the salinity of the landlocked sea is more, the temperature and landlocked sea is higher than the open sea. I will show you the landlocked seas means what. I will show you some pictures. Wait. For longer period, okay, for longer the salt. Now we are going to study about for the salinity. Now do you understand about for the temperature? The temperature where that equatorial region, the temperature is so high. So nearer to the sea coast or sea also, the surface of the sea also, the temperature is high only. Away from the equatorial regions, the temperate regions and polar regions, the temperature is automatically reduced. The temperature is automatically reduced due to the sun rays and so many other reasons also. Okay, this is the one of the reason of the surface seawater temperature. But that below the 2000-meter, okay, in everywhere, all around the world, and wherever the ocean is there, all around the world, the same phenomenon, there is after 2000-meter depth, there is a 4 degrees Celsius only. So all the animals and aquatic animals and plants can easily survive below the 2000-meter, to below the 2000-meter. Okay, I think you all are clear about for this temperature. Now we are going to shift for the salinity. Okay, the salinity means what? You see, the seawater, its taste is always salty only. Okay, but this saltness also depend upon the place. It is varies. Okay, how it is varies nearer to the equator, it's became more salty. Okay, and rain like that only, temperature how it is very high in nearer to the equator and towards the polar, it's automatically reduced. Like that salinity also. So we can study about further salinity. That one thing, now the ships are floating, no, very big ships, that is floats on the only in seawater, not in the sweet water bodies. Okay, how it is, how it is possible, no, that bow and sea, that means what? That seawater, it has the saltness. That is one of the properties of seawater. Okay, that useful for water transport. Okay, once the water is more salty, it's became the density also more only. So it helps to float the ships. Okay, but if the salinity is more, then variable limits and the life in the water gets destroyed. But they have a solution. Don't worry about this, because how that 4 degrees Celsius once we reach the 200-meter depth? No, after 200-meter depth, everywhere in the temperature is 4 degrees Celsius. Like in salinity also have some adjustable characteristics. We will learn about for that. Okay, one minute. See here. Okay. It is very closer to the torrid zone. Equatorial regions, there is a temperature is more. That's why seawater temperature also more only. So away from the equatorial regions, so the automatically the temperature is reducing. Even land mass or land mass also according to that see also. Okay. Now see we see this picture. The same thing only here is given. Now I want to show you about for the landlocked sea. Okay. There is a world map. I will show you. These are the landlocked seas. Here I'm giving the this is the Baltic Sea. It is very closer to the European countries. Okay, European countries, Norway, Sweden, around the European countries, and then see there is a Black Sea. It is very closer to the Mediterranean Sea. These all the seas are surrounded by the landmass. They don't have an open boundary. See, it is surrounded by the landmass. Even Black Sea, Ukraine, Romania, so many countries, Turkey, Russia, so many countries are surrounded. It is landlocked seas. That means the sea surrounded by the landmass. It is closed sea. That is called what? Landlocked seas. Here Mediterranean Sea. That also surrounded by the landmass. In the European countries and African continent, here is the Asia. So it is surrounded by the Mediterranean Sea. It is, and then yeah, Black Sea. It is very closer to the Mediterranean Sea. Even Red Sea also, it is closer to the Mediterranean Sea only. In Caspian Sea, that is also very closer to the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, these all called for the landlocked seas. Now we are going to the topic of salinity. So these are the experiments, very small experiment only. What no, we have to keep the 3 bowls of water. Both the bowls have a same quantity amount the water. See the keep the remaining. See, put the water containing in the salt equally in the 3 containers. Make sure the container are half empty after filling the water. Taste the water out of 3 containers. Keep one in the sun outside and cover it with the mesh lid. Okay. And then same time, keep the remaining 2 bowls in the classroom. So you can try this experiment in your home also. Put the half glass of fresh water in one of the containers in the classroom. So every day you can add small amount of fresh water in one container. Another one container is remaining same only. Already we kept the container in sunlight. One more container in the sunlight. Now what will happen after the 3-4 days? Okay, bring the containers together and taste the water. What will happen? Wow, that which container we kept outside the sunlight, no? That is more salty in taste because of the evaporation done in that container of water. So the salt amount was increased. Water is reduced, salt amount was increased. The second one, we are adding always fresh water, no? So it is reduce the saltness. In third one is remain the same. So what we understand, let us see the geographical explanation. You must have realized that because of the sun's heat, evaporation happened faster rate. Okay, so the evaporated water turn into the water vapor and reduce the quantity, but amount of salt remains in the same, remaining water. Therefore, the salinity in the water is increases. The first container, which container we kept? in the sunlight. So that is a more salinity because of the evaporations. In sea, where the rate of evaporation is high, then the supply of freshwater salinity is high. See how it is possible. Even evaporation also more. At the same time, freshwater supply. Freshwater supply means what? Rainfall and rivers. These all enter to the sea. Okay. So the freshwater supply also more. Even temperature also more. So what will happen? There is a that means what? The salinity is also high only. The saltness in the water is more. In sea, wherever the supply of fresh water exceed, the rate of evaporation is decreased. Okay, fresh water is exceed, but the same times evaporation also very less. The salinity is low. Okay, because adding more water. The salinity is not affected much in seas where both supply of fresh water and evaporation water is also low. Okay, salinity is not affected means what? Supply of fresh water is there. At the same time, evaporation also water is also low. There is a no change, remaining the same like thing only. How much the salinity it has, the remains it is same like that only. See, and then see how much salt is there all over the world. Okay, in the ocean. See, that is a 120 million tons. Okay, and it's spread on the earth. It will form a 150-meter thick layer. 150-meter thick layer. Then it is look like a 40-story building. That much salt is available in our entire ocean around the world. Now you see how is the salinity of the seawater measured. So we already completed about for that seismogram. Earthquakes are measured by the seismogram, and then this one, sorry, rain gauge. It's used to measure the rain. No, like that also in salinity also we can able to measure. How means the per thousand of water is collected in the salinity of seawater. For examples, and weight of dissolved salt in 100 grams. 1 kg of seawater is 40 grams salt is available. 1 kg seawater, there is a 40 grams salt is available in the seawater. So the salinity of the seawater is 40%. Okay, 40%. 40 per thousand parts, the hydrometer, refractometer, and salinometer, they're also used to measure the salinity. Okay, why do you measure the salinity? Here you see the world map is given. Now you can see all the landlocked sea also. Below the Europe, you see the Mediterranean Sea. Nearer to the Mediterranean Sea, north, there is a Black Sea. Now, little distance from the Caspian Sea, and then down to the Mediterranean Sea, there is the Red Sea. This is the landlocked sea, and here is the Baltic Sea. Okay, in Europe, there is a Baltic Sea. I will show you, enlarge the screen. Now you see they given the for the salinity rate. Okay, you go through once. What is the salinity around the tropics? Tropics means nearer to the equator. Okay, around the tropics there is equal only 35, 36 and everywhere. Okay, now you see in India, eastern coast, they mention 32, nearer to the Andaman, West Bengal, sorry, Bay of Bengal. The same time, Arabian Ocean, there is 36. How it is possible? The same country, we have a both border outline, no? The Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea. But Bay of Bengal, the salinity rate is 32. In Arabian Sea side, that is it's 36. How much difference? No? How it is possible? You see, in the Arabian Sea side, the western coastal line, no, there is a Shayatri mountain. I already explained in the Western Ghats. What are the rivers originated from the Western Ghats? It flows to the eastern direction and then is merged into the Bay of Bengal Ocean. So there is a more freshwater supply in Comparing to Arabian Sea, there is a more freshwater supply in Bay of Bengal. That's why the salinity rate is reduced. Are you understand? Then you see the Mediterranean Sea. There is a 37 Mediterranean Sea 37 because it is what? Landlocked sea. There is a landlocked sea. The fourth side, it is surrounded by the land mass. The temperature is automatically, it is very high. Okay, it is very high. There is a no freshwater supply because surrounding areas, no, most of the places from, it is very closer to the Arabian desert also, even Red Sea also. See the Red Sea. Now in your, I'm displaying on the Red Sea. Okay, this all are very closer to the, surrounded by the land mass. So automatically the temperature is increasing, evaporation done more level. So the seawater became more salinity. Even Red Sea, the northern part of the Red Sea, it is more saline. But the southern part of the Red Sea, it's not like that. How it is possible? Because the northern part is very closer to the Africa. There is the Sudan and then some, and many desert regions are surrounding to the northern part. There is a no freshwater supply. But the southern part is attached with the Indian Ocean. So the salinity amount is differ from the northern part from to southern part of the ocean. These are the main reasons. And then you see there is a South America. When the equator is passing, no, that place is called Brazil. There is a one big river, Amazon River. Even Africa also there is a Congo River. Even there is a more freshwater supply in equatorial regions. Then also the salinity is more. How it is possible? Because it is the equatorial regions, it gets plenty of sun rays, even the higher temperature in that regions, how much amount it gets freshwater supply, there also the evaporation also more. So the salinity is also more. But towards the polar regions, it reduced to 34, 33, and 35 because of what? More freshwater supply, and then the ice are melting. Icebergs, no, very big ice mass that you melting the ice mass, it gets for the more freshwater supply. In the no evaporation also in the polar regions because sun heat energy is very less. So the salinity is also very less only. Now we are going to the explanation. See, the uneven distribution of temperature on Earth, uneven supply of fresh water, etc. affect the salinity of seawater in tropical zone. Okay, in tropical zone nearer to the equatorial zone, the temperature is higher and the rate of evaporation also higher. Therefore, the salinity is also higher around the 5 degree north and 5 degree south. Both the side, no, nearer to the equator, there is a freshwater supply also more. At the same time, what? Evaporation also more. The salinity of the sea level also more only. Now you see the sky is cloudy for the long period of time and conventional rainfall occurs every day. Amazon River and Congo River. Already I explained no the previous chapter. The larger river like Congo and Amazon in the equatorial regions meet the sea. Therefore, the supply of fresh water is abundant. But because of the higher temperature, the rate of evaporation is more, and therefore the sea is, these areas are more saline. In mid-latitude zones, okay, away from the equator, little away from the equator, 25 degree to 35 degree north and south, rainfall is less because there is more desertification. Mid-latitude is desertification zone, okay. Then supply of fresh water from river is also low. This zone has a lot of hard desert of the world. Okay, thus the salinity of the sea is found to be higher here. That in temperate regions, the sun rays are slanting and therefore the temperature are low. Because of the melting of the snow, The supply of water is also more, and therefore in this zone the salinity is decreases with increasing latitude. Once the latitude start increasing towards the pole, the salinity is decreasing because of the sun rays, and sun energy is also reducing. In the polar areas, temperatures are very low. Temperature is automatically in polar regions very low. Everywhere we can see the ice. Evaporation also very less. The polar areas, so salinity also low only. Okay, landlocked sea. Already I explained you now. Red Sea, okay, Black Sea, Baltic Sea, Caspian Sea, Mediterranean Sea. So these all the landlocked seas. Okay, there is a lack of supply of fresh water. There is no lack of supply of fresh water from the large river. There is no large rivers. Okay, all the rivers are very small rivers only. Even Red Sea, I explained, the northern part of Red Sea is surrounded by the desertification. Sinai, Mount Sinai, that is a desert, and Sudan in Africa, and then the eastern side is the Arabian desert. So the northern part of the Red Sea is very less supply of fresh water. The salinity is more. But once we enter to the southern part, it is attached with the Indian Oceans. So it is compensate now that Indian Ocean water will enter to the Red Sea, that automatically the salinity is little. Comparing to the north, it is south is less only. Even the Mediterranean Sea, I told you now, that is a 39%. Why? That is located in the equatorial region only, and then more evaporation it happens, the salinity amount is very, very less. If you think about India, there is a Arabian Sea to the west and Bay of Bengal to the east. The salinity of the eastern coast is 34 degree. I explained, in the eastern side is 32. There is a 32. Now here they are put for 34. But the western side is 35. How it is possible? Because the western coast, it doesn't have any fresh water supply. But the eastern coast, nearer to the Bay of Bengal, okay, we have a plenty of fresh water supplies like Ganga River, Krishna, Godavari, okay. The next water, Krishna, Godavari, Kaveri. We have all deltatic regions in eastern coastal side. So more fresh water is available. So the salinity also less in the Bay of Bengal side. Now we can see the Dead Sea. Dead Sea is very closer to the Mediterranean Sea. It is located in the Israel, the country of Israel. The sea is lying the border of Israel and Jordan. Has a salinity rate is how much? See, 332%. The average salinity of ocean is 35%. The Jordan is only the larger river meeting this sea. Low rainfall, low supply of fresh water, and high evaporation are the reason of high salinity. There is no life here except few unicellular organisms. The fish coming from the river Jordan die as soon as they come here because of high salinity. Once the high salinity, it is not suitable to survive the water body animals, even plants also. So what is the miracles in Dead Sea? That the peoples and other equipment, it automatically float on the sea. Once we don't know swim also, okay, no problem. We automatically float on the sea only because what? The salinity is more. The density of water is more. So every object of the sea, it's floating. Okay. Some of them come out the surface. I've seen the saline pillars have developed. Some of them come out of the surface also. See like that, the picture it shows. Okay, now I'm going to finish. Don't worry. The density of water is also high because of the higher salinity. Therefore, one can never drown in the sea. We can easily float when we go in the sea water. Another characteristics of Dead Sea is the land here is below the mean sea level. It is one of the places having the lowest elevation on the earth. In some areas, altitude is minus 400 meter depth. See, it is very lowest sea level mark. Other says are look like a big, this very closer to the landmass, but this is what very lowest part in the entire earth. Okay, now the salinity and temperature we today we completed. Tomorrow